Hello everybody, this is Yeli, and today I am on day 25 of Ozempic, and it is the fourth day after my first 5 milligram shot, and day 89 on a GLP-1. So let me update you guys, right? I will do another update, of course, on Tuesday just to see if I got any type of reaction after my next 5 milligram injection. But there is hope. There is hope because right now I'm on 3 different medicine because we want to try and see if we can keep titration like at the lowest possible. So I am on Jardians, metformin, and Ozempic. I'm on the 0.5 milligram Ozempic and 10 milligram Jardians and 500 milligram of the extended release version of metformin. I don't know if we need to add another metformin because I see that at night my sugar is going up a little bit higher and then in the morning it's taking longer to come down. However, this was not the case the first days after the shot. This is starting to happen now. It's the 4th day of the shot, so I'm starting to see this happen right now. So it might just be a matter of allowing some time to see how that goes, because at least the let me just go over everything. Well, no, I mean, yeah, at least my daily average is 139 and it was 146 with a 0.25 Ozempic. So I can definitely tell that my sugar is better, and just the fact that it's below, like the average is below 140, gives me a lot more hope. I do still have times where I am quite high, like this morning I woke up at 170. That's way too high. That's not a value that I want to be on, but I did eat a little bit more carb heavier meal last night, so that's on me, right? And maybe that is why I'm seeing like the night spiking a little more. So I just have to now that I have more energy, I have to make sure I cook my meals again so that I'm not tempted to buy stuff out, which ends up being a higher carb meal and not a healthy meal like the ones I've been preparing at home, right? So I think the snowball has stopped, like that downward spiral where my sugar was high and I craved carbs, and then I ate carbs and that made my sugar higher. And I think that's kind of stopped. And I did make a bad decision last night about eating more carbs, but I have more energy. Like today I have energy, so I'm gonna try and cook over the weekend. I'm gonna try and cook a few meals just so that I know that I have my food set and done for at least 5 days of the week, if not the whole week, but anywhere between 4 to 5 days, right? Because I have 3 things that I can cook, and then the other days I'm going to be doing fish. So yeah, okay. The other thing that I want to share with you guys is the difference of eating a good amount of protein. It's amazing. So when I have my breakfast, which is a can of sardines and then 3/4 cup of yogurt with either fruit or low sugar jam, whichever I have. So when I eat that breakfast, I see the difference that I am full for longer. I can, go on about my day and I'm not really thinking about food or being hungry. But when I don't eat enough protein in my breakfast, it's a totally different sensation. So beside whatever I'm told about protein being good, I can also tell that protein makes a big difference on how full I feel. And what I love about those sardines, I don't love that I burp them a lot. So that part is why I'm not eating them more often. But what I do love is that they're also in olive oil. So I'm not adding any type of saturated fat to my meal, right? Which is like, this is my next step. Making sure to eat the right amount of carbs, but lowering the saturated fats that I've been eating, because I've been gearing a lot towards what I was doing during keto. And I'm gonna scale down from that a little bit just to kind of see how my body responds. And I think it's responding well, because I am 14 pounds down. So the fact that I'm back to losing weight, at some point I had gained a couple of pounds from whatever was my lowest weight, but since I started this combination of Jardians and changed to the extended release metformin, even though I don't have diarrhea anymore, I've been losing weight again. And it might just be water weight, we'll see. I guess when I update you guys after my next shot, we'll see how that's going. Now, let me talk about side effects. I think my side effects have been almost none to none. I did wake up today with a very slight headache, but I'm also like very congested. I had my flu shot when I went to my endocrinologist. She had it, so they gave me that flu shot. So I think it's more a reaction to the flu shot than anything that has to do with the combination of medicines I'm in. And it was actually like a very light headache, and it did go away after I had my coffee. So there's that, right? And that's basically the only side effect, because, you know, on the positive note, like that diarrhea that I had, that was, in my opinion, induced to metformin, taking the metformin away and adding extended release metformin and replacing the 1000 of, you know, 500 and 500 of the other one with just one 500 extended release is really helping my GI settle better, right? So that's great. And of course, I still have to be mindful, because now I don't want to go to being constipated, but that has not happened either. So I'm good on that. The other positive is that unless I don't eat enough protein, I'm not getting hungry. And even when I didn't eat enough protein, I wasn't starving. I was just hungry that I'm ready to eat, but not like crazy food chatter or anything like that. So that's a quite good positive, because I can eat better when I'm in that mindset, right? And I just need to be mindful of having my meals plans, and like that's on me, not on the medicine. So that's something that I do need to be mindful of. And like I said, I'm not getting hungry, but when it's time to eat my meal, I eat my meal okay. However, my meals aren't big. My meals are definitely smaller. And I was never a big meal person, but I was a person that would graze throughout the day constantly, which I'm not doing. So I'm kind of just having my meals, right? And my meals are small. Like a typical meal could be salmon, asparagus, and depending on what type of carb I have, if I didn't have any type of carb, then I'll just do some yogurt. But I'm trying to definitely stay away from potato, rice, and those carbs that I see that spike my sugar up so high. I have some quinoa, and I need to try that, see how that goes, because the other day we went to a restaurant. It was not quinoa though. It was it couscous? I think it was something of that sort, with fish and some vegetables, and that was good. That was okay for me. Like that carb was okay for me. So I need to play around a little bit with carbs, but I wanted to really stabilize my sugar again before introducing anything. So I'm not quite there, but I know that that's something that I'll be doing in the future. I've also been sleeping better, which is wonderful, except for a little bleep that I had the other day. I'll tell you about this. And I am, though, waking up more in the middle of the night to go pee, because with Jardians, my doctor said that I have to be super ultra mindful of being very well hydrated. So I'm aiming to have 4 of these per day. I've managed 3. And this one says it's a 24 ounce, but I think I measured and it was really more like a 30 ounce. So I was reading online. I'm like, I need to talk to my nutritionist though, so that they can tell me what I need to strive for in terms of being hydrated. But I was reading that it has to be close to 3 liters. They don't all come from water. Whatever water is in your beverages, coffee or food also counts towards that. But then I also have to make sure that I'm doing at least 2 liters on my own, right? And I do have my electrolytes that I had to start taking again because I was cramping in the middle of the night. So I'm just like taking half a packet of electrolytes in this tumbler of water, and I'm kind of just having half of it each day. And that's good enough, because if I have too many electrolytes, and that was kind of upsetting my stomach something as well. And I think it might be the magnesium that's in there. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. So now let me tell you the funny story that did not allow me to sleep well, not last night, but the night before. I had my, so I was on a Freestyle Libre 3 for a couple of times, like 14 days and 14 days. And then I switched back to the Freestyle Libre 2. I love the 3 in terms of it being small, but I don't like the app. I don't like that you cannot see the specific values, that when you go to see what your sugar is, it doesn't log it and you have to manually log your sugar. And then it doesn't allow you really to put many notes in it, and you have to just log it in terms of something with food. So that wasn't working for me, right? And my doctor on her back end, I don't think sees specific values as well. I think there's also a constraint on the back end for the physicians. So because also my diabetes educator was talking about that. So anyway, we're back to the 2, and it's a little bit bulkier, right? But I had gotten used to doing a smaller one. I put it on and I put an over bandage on. So let me kind of show you guys what I do, right? I get one of these guys, and I put it on. So it was on. It was all working well. I go to bed. I saw that my sugar was kind of trending lower, but I thought it was Ozempic doing its thing because I had gone on a higher dose. But I think that even though the over bandage was on, the reader wasn't completely on. So I need to figure out how to put that over bandage so that doesn't happen again. So anyway, I go to bed, and my husband and I got woken up no less than 10 times by a low glucose alarm. So I'm half asleep. I see that it says that my glucose is 50 something, and that's quite low. So you're supposed to prick your finger, double test it before taking any type of action. But when I saw it was so low, I put one of the fast acting glucose tablets in my mouth. But then when I checked, and it had the downward arrow, because that's something that you also have to pay attention to when you're on CGMs. So it wasn't like a horizontal arrow that's saying that your sugar is stable. It's a downward arrow where it's telling you, hey, sugar is going low fast, so do something about it. Anyway, I went ahead and took that, and then I pricked my finger, and I saw that my sugar was okay. It was actually kind of high. I think that measurement at that time was 136, 120 something, 147. I don't know, but it was over 120. So I was like, okay, I don't, the CGMs do have a delay of at least like 5 minutes to catch up. So was it true that 5 minutes ago my sugar dropped so much? I don't know. Anyway, I got more alarms, and I kept on getting them and kept on getting them. And then at some point, like I was, just tired of pricking my finger, and I was just disregarding the alarm. And then the 3rd time it came up, I would prick my finger again, make sure that everything was okay. And then I would go back to sleep. So I didn't want to turn it off, because I'm here thinking, what if by the time I'm measuring, you know, my sugar is really, but then I thought, but I'm asleep, right? And I'm not thinking well straight because I'm really full of sleep. So then at some point I was like, okay, how about I stay awake for at least 5 more minutes to check and see if my sugar in the CGM corresponds with my finger prick. And it did not. So at that point I was like, I have a high certainty that there's something wrong with this CGM. I didn't want to turn the alarms off anyway. My husband was also like, well, don't turn them off. You really don't know. If you take that tablet and your sugar goes a little bit higher, you're really not going to die from that, right? But if it really goes low, and that is a true low, you want to do something about it. So that's how it was. And I didn't sleep. So I called them in the morning, and apparently I had a faulty sensor. So they asked me to save it. They're going to send me a replacement sensor with a kit to return the faulty one. I applied a new sensor, and yeah, lo and behold, no low sugar at all. Like my sugar is actually like my daily average, 139, right? So you can tell that there's no low sugar, and I haven't really had a dip that goes down all the way to a value that's unhealthy. Like I think the lowest I've had it is 90, just because it took me a while between one meal and the other. So yeah, I was woken up so many times. So what did I learn from what the person from Abbott told me? So what the guy told me was, if you're getting those low readings and you're finger pricking and it's higher, then wait for 5 minutes to confirm, because then your glucose monitor should give a higher reading. And there's always a percentage of error, a margin of error, right? So I think he was talking about 30-40. So I have to take that into account too. And then he also said, if the arrow is horizontal, then most likely your sugar is stable and there's not a change in it. And if that's what's going on, it means that when you're finger pricking and it's higher and that horizontal arrow, there's a high probability that there's, you know, that you're not really going into a low because you're finger pricking. So take all those variables into account and use the feature of snooze the alarms for X amount of time so you can sleep. So I need to figure out if that's something that I want to do, because I always get very scared, especially because I'm on new medicine, right? So I didn't want to risk anything. I'd rather not sleep than risk having a low and then just having an issue because of that. So anyway, that's what I did. I called them, and they were nice, and they kind of also educated me a little bit on what markers to watch for to make an informed decision about whether I want to snooze the alarms, even if it's for 3 hours, so that I could get some sleep, because I was being woken up every single hour, and the alarm sometimes went off like even earlier than that. So it was just so annoying. But that happens, I guess. There's faulty readers, and I don't know if it was a little bit loose and that was what was causing the issue. It could have been that as well, because it wasn't even hard to take it off. You know, sometimes you really have to like struggle with them to take it off, but this one came off like so easy. So yeah, and I've also realized that when I put it too far back, so I had it here. When I put it so far back, it doesn't stay well. And I think it's because of all the, you know, loose skin I have there. So I'm doing it a little bit further up where my doctor used to put it, but the doctor's nurse put it all the way back that one time. So I was like, okay, let's try this again. So anyway, yeah, this is where I am. Happy and excited that there's been some additional weight loss, that my sugar is going down. And even though today's Saturday, I typically started seeing it creeping up, it's still much lower than what my best sugar was when I was on the 0.25, okay? So thank you guys for watching. As always, it's very much appreciated. And I would love now to ask you guys if you have any type of funny story of something that's happened to you, while on these GLP-1 medicines, whether you're on Mounjaro or Ozempic or a combination of other medicines like I am right now, and you've had like something funny or even sometimes scary, because I know that people that are not using CGMs and that are on these medicines sometimes have had a low sugar and they felt like, you know, crappy, and they ended up checking their sugars, and sure enough it was quite low, so they had to eat something. So anyway, let me know if you have anything like that, and if not, also let me know and be like, nope, I've always been great, my sugar has been fine, I haven't had any issues, because I'm always curious. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I love reading your comments. Thank you so much for all of you who do comment. I really appreciate that, because you're giving me great insight. And I'm really hopeful and excited to be on this journey with you. And you guys are the best part of this for me, because that support means the world to me. So be sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss any more videos. And hopefully I'll be seeing you in the next one, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.